All right, number 5, we want to find the domain here. So it looks like it's a rational function, but not exactly, because in the denominator there's no x variable. So being that the denominator is -5, it's going to be constant, so there's nothing that's going to affect us with dividing by 0. However, we do have an even radical in the numerator, so still, like the previous problems, we're going to look at what's under the radical and make sure that is greater than or equal to 0. So solving that will leave us with the -x greater than or equal to -3. Divide by -1. When you divide by negative, it flips the inequality sign, so that leaves us with a positive x less than or equal to, this will now be a positive 3. And so pointing to the left, so that's going toward -infinity. 3 will be a bracket. So we're looking at -infinity, parenthesis 2, positive 3 in a square bracket. Okay, number 6, we have a mix. We have a rational function with a even radical in the denominator. So we got to put the two restrictions together. Eight divided by x squared plus 3. And so square root has to be greater than or equal to 0. Because it's in the denominator, it cannot be equal to 0. So you just get rid of the underline, and so, sorry, I need the plus 3. And so our restriction is whatever's under the radical has to be greater than 0. When we solve, subtract 3, that gives us x squared has to be greater than -3. Now, if we were to try to solve this, we would have to take the square root of both sides, and that would give us x greater than, there's no number that you can take the square root of and get a negative. So there is no real solution here. You can also understand this, that no matter what number you plug in for x, in this case, it's going to be greater than a negative, because when you square any number, it's going to be positive. So no matter what number you use, it's going to be greater than -3. That is except for 0. So basically, the only number we can't use is 0. And we can use any other number because there's no other solution for x other than it has to be greater than 0. And so our domain, in this case, only thing that makes the denominator 0, like I think even if you plug in 0, you'll be fine. Yeah, 0 squared is 0, you'll have a positive 3. There's no number you can plug in besides the square root of -3. If you square that, if you plug that in for x and you square that, that will give you -3, which will give you 0. So the square root of -3 will be the only number you couldn't use, but you can't take the square root of a negative, so there's no no number you can't use. So this domain is going to be negative infinity to positive infinity. You can use all numbers. There's no restrictions here. Nothing will make the denominator 0. The number that would make it 0 is not real. And then everything else works.